Hi there! If you're watching this video, that means that you either purchased a ticket to my 2-hoop 1-hand manipulation workshop series, or you purchased the recap video for the first hour. Either way, thank you so much for your support. I really appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. This is going to be the recap video for the first hour of my 2-hoop 1-hand manipulation workshop series that happened today, August 30th, 2020. In this first hour, we covered more beginner to intermediate type moves and spent the first chunk of the class really discussing the different types of grip that are possible when manipulating 2 hoops in 1 hand, as well as starting to explore some transitions between those grips, mostly delving into Ocho grip. We spent most of this first hour really focusing on the Ocho grip. Before I got into some of the moves, I kind of also broke down some of my terminology and we did a little warm up. So I figured for the purposes of this recap video, why don't we go on ahead and do another little warm up and just get our wrists and our shoulders and our neck and everything activated and ready to go, because some of the grips that we're going to be doing with these hoops in 1 hand can be pretty fatiguing, especially for your wrist, your hand, your wrist, your forearm, and your shoulder. All right, so we're going to go on ahead and we're just going to start lifting the head up and down. We're going to do 8 times up and down, then we're going to do 8 times side to side, 8 times ear to ear, and then 4 circles each way, just with the head and neck. All right, ready? And here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right and left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, ear to ear. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Big shoulder to the right. 1. And again. 2, 3. 1 more roll to the right. 4. And at the bottom, we'll reverse directions. 1, 2, 3, 4. Beautiful. Now we're going to roll our shoulders back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and forward. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and forward. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now big arm circles back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and forward. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right. Let's go ahead and do some wrist circles, 8 each way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Hold 1, 2, 3. Other way. 1, 2, 3. And 1, 2, 3. Again. 1, 2, 3. Switch arms. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. A little side stretch for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, and we're good to go. So the first, before we delved into the move, I just want to talk a little bit about grip. Okay. So when manipulating 2 hoops in one hand, we have 3 different major categories of grip styles. The first one is the closed grip, where the hoops look like they're just overlapping. And that could be me, so I'm right-handed. I'm gonna be using my right dominant hand for the purposes of all of the moves in this video. So that is this hand. So if I were to hold the hoop here, this would be me holding the hoop in an outside grip, thumbs up at 3 o'clock. And it's called an outside closed grip. The hoops are closed, and it's an outside grip because my palm is making contact with the outside of the hoop, as opposed to if I wanted to do a closed grip with an inside grip here, that would be like so, because now my palm is making contact with the inside of the hoop. So I often reference my hoops like a clock. So anytime that I mention, grabbing the hoop at 3 o'clock or 6 o'clock or what have you, it's always in reference to you looking at the hoop in front of you. So when I look at these hoops, this is 12 o'clock, this is 3 o'clock, this is 6 o'clock, and this is 9 o'clock. So that about sums up closed grip. The next type of grip possible when manipulating 2 hoops in one hand is the infamous Ocho grip. And again, I could have this where my green hoop's in front or my pink hoop is in front, which may differ based on the move, or it may not matter. And I can also say that I'm holding my Ocho grip here in front of me, holding at 3 o'clock. Here, thumbs up, but I could also say that I'm holding it at 3 o'clock, thumbs down. So that's the type of terminology that I'll be using in this video, and the type of terminology that I use in my workshops to help just kind of break down where to set up and navigate through all these different tricks. So for the first move here, it looks like this. And I'm calling this one the Ocho around the world. I don't know if there's another name for this, but that's just what I'm calling it. So, Ocho around the world. In terms of, if I were to let go of the one hoop, the hoop that's starting off and staying closest to my body is this green hoop here. I'm going to be starting with the hoop behind me, thumbs up at 3 o'clock here. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to isolate along the top of the hoop and draw this nice semicircle along the top of the hoop here to isolate to 9 o'clock, at which point I'm going to now bring the hoop off of my body to end with my thumb up here. And now I'm just going to have this hoop my hand is actually making contact with my body here to swing and bring this hoop now to the opposite side. Now my thumb is down on my native side here, and the hoop's going to swing back in like so to come back to our starting position, thumbs up. So when you do the whole thing together with one hoop, it looks like so. When we add the second hoop, now I just start in my Ocho grip with the hoops behind me, thumbs up, and I'm following the same path. I isolate from 3 o'clock to 9 o'clock, and once I get here now, I have to allow this hoop that's on the side to swing behind me. My thumb is now up, at which point I want this green hoop, the hoop that I just took off of my body, to come swoop in front, up and over, to come back to my starting position. So when we put it all together, we have like so. Isolate from 3 o'clock to 9 o'clock, have the pink hoop, the side hoop swing behind, have the other hoop swoop down and over and in front, and now it comes back to the starting position. And that is the Ocho around the world. After this move, I started demonstrating different tosses and, oh wait, no, I did that after this. After this one, I talked about different ways to hinge and unhinge your hoop in Ocho grip. So what I mean by that is going from a closed grip to an Ocho grip, or an Ocho grip to a closed grip, and how to do those sorts of things comfortably and cleanly. I'm calling this sort of motion here like a hinge, so hinging and unhinging. If we go back to our starting move, the Ocho around the world, and we end here, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna isolate now to 12 o'clock, and up at the top here, you're now just going to go ahead and loosen your grip to allow the front hoop to fold in front, like so. So from the side, I'm here, and I just loosen my grip and let that pink hoop fold in front. Now, I can push this pink hoop down and use my body and my arm to help sneak this green hoop back out front to end up in Ocho grip again. Back from the starting position, the whole thing looks like so. Sorry, my cat's being annoying. All right, hopefully you got to hear. Then we went ahead and we reversed the whole thing. So loosen your grip. Really just have your bottom fingers here, your forefingers here, just holding that bottom hoop and the tips of those forefingers, and then holding onto this hoop that's framing my face here, the green hoop, with my thumb. I'm gonna reverse the whole thing to allow the green hoop to fall behind me as I pick this one up. So essentially we're practicing this. Once I get to here, I can, if I want to, grab that front hoop with all 4 of my fingers and swing it on up. Come back to the starting position. The whole thing looks like so. We then explored this concept of hinging and unhinging from this, instead of vertically, we explored it now next horizontally. So if we start on our non-native side, thumbs up, I'm at 9 o'clock here. I really just focus on having this hoop that's in front. So I'm having the hoop that's out to the side as the one in front. If I'm holding that with my forefingers, and this hoop, the center hoop that's behind, hold onto that with my thumb, I can now more easily use my, I don't know what my cat is doing, my forefingers here to hinge and unhinge that hoop while keeping the hoop that's being held by my thumb, keeping that one still. So I do that by creating like this tiny bit of space between the two and then hinging. So it's kind of like a cheat. So what you really want to do is just loosen your grip a lot. Try and keep the thumb side hoop still as you fold with that front hoop, just using those 4 fingers. Up. Then we can go ahead and isolate along the bottom and try the same thing now on this side, starting from thumbs down. See if you can navigate through that one. From here, we went into a couple different tosses to do a little pop, to go from a closed grip to Ocho grip. So the first one looks like so. We then learn the side one. And the drop one. The first one from the side looks like so. All that's happening here, I'm holding on to the front hoop with my 4 fingers. I'm holding on to the back hoop with my thumb, so I'm starting in a closed outside grip here. And I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna give it a little bounce and a little pop up, and as I'm coming up at that moment of aha, up, that's when I'm gonna release with these 4 fingers here while still holding on to the back hoop with my thumb, pop it up, and then catch onto the bottom of the front hoop. So I really wanna focus on the bottom of that front hoop. So focus your gaze on the bottom of that front hoop and go for it. Oop. Sometimes it's just not gonna work, but other times, if you really just focus your gaze on the bottom of that front hoop and be able to distinguish letting go with just those front fingers and then re-gripping, it'll get easier. Maybe not. Okay, now we did the side pop. In order to do the side pop, we're gonna start with that same outside closed grip. We're gonna do a little pendulum to swing to that non-native side, and then we're gonna pull the hoops like so, this way. As I'm doing this, just like with the pop up, I'm going to let go of the hoop in the front with my 4 fingers and give it that jerk so that it can pop out to the side, and I could grab onto the side of the hoop like so. We put it all together, bam. Ooh. Bam. And again, I'm going to focus my gaze on this side of that front green hoop there, because that's where I want to grab. I'm going to keep staring at this part of the green hoop as I'm doing this move. Bam. There we go. And then the last one might be the easiest one, because all you're really doing is holding on to the 2 hoops at the bottom here and allowing this one to drop and then grab. So I'm cheating here. I'm actually holding the top one here and then doing that. That's easier. When you feel like you're ready, go ahead and don't use that other hand and try and catch it. It makes it a little bit trickier when you don't have the other hand to steady the planes. There we go. And then the last toss that we went over from closed to Ocho looks like so. So in order to do this one, the first step, the hoop that's going to stay closest to the body, is just doing this. Okay? So starting with the hoop down in front of us with the thumb pointed to the non-native side, it's going to lead with the thumb to come to here, continue to come up and behind, so that the hoop is behind you and you're holding at 3 o'clock. You want to be able to do this while mostly holding the hoop in your thumb, like so. Because the other part of your hand is going to be releasing and catching the other hoop. Okay, so once I add in the other hoop, the hoop that's going to be released is the hoop that's closest to your body. So if I'm starting here and I have my pink hoop in front and my green hoop is closest to my body, it's the green hoop that's going to get thrown. This hoop is going to be always sit between my thumb and the other hoop that's being held by the four fingers there. So this is the kind of release that's going to happen, but you want the hoop to go all the way back to the native side, which requires you to hold onto the hoop for a little bit longer so that when it falls to that non-native side like so. As soon as I release this hoop, I'm already starting to swing the other one behind me. Remember this? So the release is happening here, and then that hoop is swinging behind. One more time, and bam. It should always be landing on the non-native side. If it's landing on this side, that means you're releasing too early. So release it a little bit later so that it lands on this side. If it's flying out that way, it means you're releasing too late. So this is too early. That's too late. And this is right on time. Once you feel like you've got the timing of this down, you're ready to now try and grab it in the Ocho grip. In order to grab it, you want to focus your gaze on the point that you're going to grab, which happens to be pretty much the same place where you're releasing it. So right where you're starting the whole move and gripping the hoop is where you're going to stare at and where you're going to re-grip. The hoop doesn't actually move all that much in the act of doing it, so you wind up kind of catching it in pretty much the same place as you released it. Unless you're really trying to do a huge toss, then it might be different, but you really don't have to do a really big, like over-the-top toss with them. It's really just, they're really supposed to stay pretty close. So once you're here, now you can go back into that one and this guy that we practiced. Cool. And then the last little bit the next thing that we talked about was body wraps. So if you got this move, cool. Once you're here, you have a good opportunity to swing this hoop all the way across so that your hand comes to your chest, and you place the hoop that started on the outside, so the one that's swinging in front, that's going to make contact with your left shoulder. You go ahead and let that hoop go. Let it swing all the way around the back to come to the other shoulder, and now you can re-grab it to come back into Ocho grip. When you put it all together, it looks like so. Bam. One more time. Bam. Another option, instead of re-grabbing it and going into Ocho grip, you can do anything that you want that you would usually do from here, whether that's something funky where you swing it outward like that. I personally like doing one of those little rolls. So in order to do a roll like that, you just pinch, pinch, pinch between the right side of your jaw and that shoulder there, and you start working on this little bit of a swing here. And once you feel like you're hitting that highest point is where you would release it. I just seem to be bad at catching it right now. But yeah, so if you put the whole thing together, it looks like so. Bam. I didn't cover this in class, but another option is to go from the ocho, instead of doing a shoulder wrap, you can go ahead and do a butt wrap. That works too. I'm not that great at them, and then you can regrip and go back to ocho. So one more time, the butt wrap. Ooh. I'm struggling. I need to get better, a little bit at these butt wraps, but yeah. Fun things to play around with. The next thing that I talked about was some entrances into wedgies from ocho grip. So if you have the hoop behind you here, you can go ahead and swing it across and go right into wedgies from that. So bam, we have to hit this nice hip hinge here where I'm picking this leg up and over, and my hoop is going to hit in this crease right here in my groin to hit this nice aha movement. So aha, and then it swings back and we wedgie. So one more time. And we wedgie. Another option is to start with the hoops in front of you like so. And now you can put it on your right leg instead of your left leg from here. So now you hit that aha moment here, bringing the right leg up and over and hitting the crease of this right groin here. Bam. And we wedgie. If you are able to do a wedgie where you can then kick it up, so I'm hooping up with I consider this a right wedgie here. Right there, where my left leg is giving it a nice big boom. If I have my right hand ready to go right here next to my hip, I can grab it right there. Now bring my left leg out of it, and I can grab onto that hoop. So one more time, bam. Pull myself out of that hoop. So we're wedging on the right leg, and I'm gonna have my big aha moment right here. I pull that left leg out, I catch, I pull the hoop off of me. If we do that, if we're here and we hinge and we go into a wedgie and we have this other hoop in front of us like so, we can now do our big aha moment, and look, I can re-grab right there to go back into ocho grip and do whatever I want to do in ocho grip. So that was pretty much everything that we covered in the first hour. Thanks so much for watching. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Find me on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and my website, all under The Hoop Doc. So yeah, all right.